It's Real Fit Radio with B
and J.LOU.
If this is your first time listening, welcome. And if you're a returning listener, welcome back.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Kings are recognized through their spirit, not their economic status. That's it.
All right.
Just because you have the money doesn't make you royalty to me.
Okay. I like that.
Yeah.
Just jot these down. You could start making a little notebook of inspirational quotes for our listeners. You just go back and revisit stuff. Sometimes things you hear right now are not applicable, but for another season, it's hitting right on time. So I like it.
Cool.
It's 2021. We're back and we're better.
Blinga, 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 blinga. We don't have no confetti and no bull horns or not bull horns, air horn.
Those things are loud.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my goodness. It's January 4th. We are, 3 days in?
It just happened.
Yeah. And we're going to look up, and then it'll be June, and then August, then November. Yeah. Time flies by. Be aware.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I'm excited. It's cold, so I'm going to keep moving around. California cold is not the same as Houston cold, so...
No, it's not.
For me, when I'm cold, Lou was like, this feels good to me. And I'm like, nah, it's cold to me. So, yeah, it's cold. What is this considered our winter? This is our winter? Yeah, so it's winter here, amongst other crazy things that are going on. I'm going to talk about that.
No.
Yeah, but
the
rest of us talking about that.
I think we've spent enough of our intros to our previous podcast about these previous situations and current ones.
Yeah, I think I saw somebody that said, I think it was during, I'm not going to even reference that where we just came from.
That number.
Yeah, that number, yeah. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and jump into the meat and potatoes of this podcast. Funny tidbit for me. You know, I start breaking stuff down, like dissecting it, and it could be something like, why? But so everybody's doing these New Year's resolutions, right? So I'm like, okay. And most of the time, the joke is nobody keeps the New Year's resolution. So, random thought. I just was like, I just want to go look up the word resolution. And when I looked it up, it said...
To solve a problem.
No, it says a firm decision to do or not to do something. And so I was thinking, well, what's commitment? Because I always say when I make a commitment, I'm keeping my word. I'm committed to doing this. And even when we talk about finishing what we started, how companies fall, how small businesses never get off the ground for lack of commitment, consistency, those types of things. So commitment is a word we use all the time. So right. I went and looked up like the definition of commitment, and it says an agreement or pledge to do something in the future or commitment to improve conditions. I think it kind of ran into like a sentence to give you an example, but it's saying an agreement or pledge to do something in the future. So I think the resolution sets you up to fail initially because you have the option, a firm decision to do or not to do something. I was just like, why is not to do even there?
Maybe it's referring to something that's negative that you've been doing and you making a firm decision that you're not going to do that.
Yeah. Well, I feel better saying New Year's commitment instead of resolution. Even like with dieting is not a resolution. There's no resolve. I want like lifestyle. So it's like my commitment to eating better, not my resolution to eating better. It's a daily thing. It's something that's happening all the time. It can change at a moment's notice because you decided to, I'm not doing this anymore. And I always think of things that are temporary, like resolutions. It's almost like they're made to break. Does that make sense to you? You hear it's like the gym. I know you know about the gym. Only this year will be the first year that the gym memberships are not like crazy. Yeah. The roof. And you know, people that work out all the time, they're upset like, man, the first January, February, you know, maybe mid-March, people coming in here, it's packed. You're interrupting people's regular routine workout time that it's a lifestyle for. So New Year's resolution or New Year's commitment, do you have any?
In terms of like the cliche resolutions, no, actually it's more of a commitment than it is a resolution. My thing going into every day is just being better than I was yesterday. And that is a daily commitment. That's not something that this year I'm gonna be better than I was last year. No, because every day is an improvement. Each day you can do something better than you did the day before. It's always room for improvement. So no, that is more of a commitment to me than it would be a resolution.
Right. And I always think that the moment that you have a better understanding of how to do something better or implement a particular thing that will put you on a different level, as far as like, oh, I'm applying this wisdom. You know, somebody let me know or somebody told me this and I'm going to implement it immediately, or I'm going to execute this immediately. I think that shouldn't be something that you put off. I think you can make not so much as New Year's commitments, but you can be making new commitments every day. You fall, you get back up. You fall, you get back up. It's not something I think that you should wait till the new year to do it. I think the moment you have an understanding of how you can do better, the moment you have the knowledge to actually execute something, like I didn't know how to do this, but now I do, you should start doing it. And
what is it? You find something out in June and then it's like New Year's resolution. I'm gonna just mess up the rest of this year, but come January, I'm gonna implement this.
Yeah, and it's almost like I've said before, me being spiritual, I've had these thoughts like, how arrogant of you to think that you know how long you're gonna be here. But in it is faith that you will, because, you know, you have a purposeful life and there's so much more that you want to do to hopefully assist others in some capacity. That's how I look at it. But for me to say, it's June, I know you let me know that this is something that's not good for me, or I need to start working on, let's say, relationship goals or anything. Yeah, but let me just finish spending crazy, doing things that aren't productive or things that aren't going to assist me with the goals I've set. I'm going to start next year. Yeah, I'm going to start next year. But you know what you need to do. You have somewhat of a blueprint or reference point, and you just choose not to execute it. I think they say my people perish for lack of knowledge. But I always say my people perish for lack of knowledge and implementation, because some people know, they just choose not to implement what they know.
Well, do you think maybe people don't do that because they don't understand how big of an asset time is until it's too late in the day sometimes?
Time is the biggest thing that's undervalued. And when I say it's priceless, me personally, I'll give up my money before I give up my time, because I can't get it back. And usually if you get my time, I'm giving like 100%. You ever go somewhere and have a bad meal and it's like, damn, they got me. And you know, it was not, we've had some moments just like, it was nothing good there. And we read about it. We drove out a ways and went around happy hour and we tried the drink that, you know, everybody ranted and raved about or yelped about. And we asked the waiter or waitress, you know, what does everybody usually eat here? We drove up, we explained our whole foodie venture, and we get in the car and it's like the bill was $70, and it's like, I wouldn't tell anybody about it and I wouldn't go back. Remember the where were we? We were up, gosh. It was in San Diego. I read about this restaurant. I thought it was really cool. So you walk through this secret door in the refrigerator.
I know what you're talking about.
To get into the restaurant, like you have to come through this secret door.
They did a great cinematography job on that.
Yeah, when I looked at it, I Googled videos. I'm like, we gotta go. Literally, it was just a door. For people that listen to this, I'm a huge movie buff, so I'm thinking of something like Blade, where he goes through the kitchen and they open the freezer door and go through, and it's like a rave going on. I'm just like, wow, it's like Chronicles of Narnia, The Lion, Witch, and the Wardrobe. It's like going through the closet. I'm like excited. I'm pumped. And it was literally like I could see from the outside the restaurant, and I could see the door to go in it. There wasn't anything hidden. The marketing was great.
Oh yeah,
they
did a great job of making it something that it wasn't.
Right. So I think that those types of things, you spend money on that stuff, and it's like we did that. And there was some time, but we had other things we were doing there, so we enjoyed ourselves. We weren't there just for that. We stayed out and did some other things. But I think that time, man, like I just said, it's so undervalued. People just lend their time to anything. It's just like, I'm going to go hang out over here with these people and I don't even like them. At this job, I understand it provides, the means or the seed to take care of the bills, but you need to be moving with the time you have on the weekends or when you get off, looking for something else or putting money into possibly putting you in a position where you don't have to be there. They won't do it. They'll just complain about going there 8 hours a day.
Resolutions and commitment.
Yeah, 5 days a week or more, because some people work 50, 60-hour shifts. I hate my job. And it's like, what are you doing to get out of it? And I understand sometimes me have been a single parent for a long time. You do have times where you have to, more than not, you take on gigs where it's just like, this is what I have to do right now to pay the bills, to make sure the kids have, and myself, we have a roof over our heads. I get that. But this is not the end all be all. I'm spending a lot of time here and I'm not learning anything. I'm not connecting with any people. The energy is garbage. It doesn't take too much time to figure out this is not where you want to be, And so people lend their time to that work, jobs or careers, people. That's the worst. You just keep giving your time to somebody, whether it's relationship, friendships, false friendships, it's not going anywhere. Yeah. You said, time.
Commitments.
You can't get my time.
Their commitments people put on themselves. Have you committed half that to something that you really enjoy doing business-wise?
But that's too much effort. That's too much effort. I think a great majority of people like to hear themselves complain and talk, and that is about the maximum effort they're putting into doing something. That is their way of doing something. It's like, I'm sending out a bat signal. I hate this place. And I think that someone's supposed to be like, you do? Well, come over here. I got something for you. You need a check? You need another job? You need a car? So I don't know. I feel like that within itself is like a self-check type thing. And it's like, I'm tired of hearing myself complain about whatever it is. And for New Year's commitments, I would say, whether it's weight, your job, the people you're surrounding yourself with, when you set these goals or these resolutions, commitments, whatever you want to call them, what are the action items to begin executing to get you there? Now, it's one thing to say you want something. It's another thing to say, I want to move. I want to buy a house. I want a car. I want a relationship. And I'll even grab the relationship one because that's something a lot of people wanting to date, or you hear people saying, my goal is to be married by this time. They got timelines and everything. I just want to know, when are you creating time, and how are you aligning yourself and even preparing yourself for another person?
That's the biggest thing there, is the preparation. Everybody has this long list of what it is that they want to do and what their goals are, but they don't ever have a plan of action.
No, it just sounds good. It's something to talk about.
Like, yeah, I want this, but okay, well, how you gonna do it? What's the first thing? I don't know, but
or you get in trouble when you say that. It's like, well, how you gonna do it? Man, I ain't trying to talk about all that. Dang, man, you about to make this like I'm working right now. Oh, man, I catch you later, man. you just, how they say, dead that. You just killed that whole conversation because there's work. Like, you keep talking to somebody every time you see him. I'm real big on seasoned conversation. If I've been around someone, it could be a couple of months, especially new people, and you kind of just be aware. This is something for you to do, especially with the New Year's resolutions. As new people are coming, entering and exiting your lives, pay attention to people's conversation. If they're talking about the same thing, and not the same thing like, I did this to get me closer to that. I'm talking about, oh, man, back to what I said before, I hate this job. Okay, they're venting to you. You got to be there for friends sometimes. Let them dump. It's frustrating. But throw some action items out there. How long you been there? Oh, wow. A year, a couple of months. Oh, okay. So did you end up just grabbing that up based on your experience? I mean, how did you end up there? Oh, it's just the opportunity that presented itself because of the account. Okay. So what's your goal? Get in a car. I got to get me a car. I'm tired of getting on the bus, or I'm tired of asking for rides. People act like I'm intruding on their schedule. And okay. So what you got some money saved? No, not yet. Oh, okay. Well, do you know what kind of car you want to get? You doing a car note, or you gonna pay for it all outright? Are you looking at a couple of places, you kind of want to go to for used cars? How many miles you want it on it? Yeah. 2-door? That's too many questions. When you start doing that, they'll be like, ooh, I'm gonna call you back. I just realized I didn't even call my mom back. People will run because it's work. Start putting that work on people. You will increase the value of your time and your circle, who you surround yourself with. I don't want to be around anybody that's not elevating me. And I too am elevating them. Iron sharpens iron. I don't have time for it. And it's not always monetary. It's, we're exchanging words of wisdom. We're educating each other. I might learn something from you that I had no idea. I mean, it should feel good to talk to people that's in your circle.
Well, yeah, to add to that is, how do you expect to grow if the person or the people that you're around are not growing? Like, I don't like to say beneath or level a tier below, but you guys are on different playing fields. Like, you don't even have the same goals or same ambitions to do better. So if you're surrounded by that, the conversation will be bleak. Outside of just ditching those people, you have to end up finding a different way to keep yourself. Damn dog. Well, to add to what you were saying in terms of the type of conversation that you want to have, because at some point you grow weary of hearing the same thing over and over again, or it starts to wear on you.
Well, to tie back into what you were saying about what do you do? Like when you have people around you, not that they're beneath you, but you can tell they're not growing or there's not an exchange of information, education. Me personally, I can feel certain people. I'm like, I've heard this story 1,000 times. I think it's a good balance though, because one part is giving back, because we all were in positions where somebody labored with us.
Oh yeah, I agree with that.
No, but the other part is, I think you should always, especially with the advancement of technology, you should always be searching whether you physically can be in the company of someone that has the knowledge or experience. Because knowledge is one thing, but if they've experienced it, they may have read a book or, they impart it that way. But if they've done it, you want to be in the company physically if you can be, or like we do, we use YouTube, get books, and we can read and kind of learn through their experience that way and implement that type of knowledge. So I think that if you have a couple of people around you, fill them out and they're doing the same things, I wouldn't say ditch anybody, but at some point you're handicapping them because it's some bull. They are just being who they are, whether they just talking and there's no, resolution, commitment. You just keep having these same conversations, conversations.
I guess that's the main question I was trying to ask, because I am with you in terms of, you want to give back because everybody's been in a rough patch before. I think the main premise of what I was trying to get to was, how much time do you spend in there before you make your conscious decision? Like, okay, I laid it all on the field. I tried to help. And because this is where most people get caught up with.
But that's
and specifically with family sometimes too, or really, really close friends that you grew up with and you knew them all your life and things like that. That don't necessarily happen with people that you just meet all the time. It's usually the ones that's been there for a minute. It's like, at what point do you like, okay, I love you, but we're going to have to go our ways until we meet up again down the river.
Down the river. I probably won't meet up again with them, but this ties back into what you asked me originally. It depends on how much you value your time. That will determine how much time you lend. When you value your time, I've given what I can there. If I give any more here, I've exhausted the time I have to give over here. Now we're cutting in the time I have to execute on my entrepreneurial endeavors. I need to give to my husband, my children. Mentally, I have to meditate and refuel. You value your money? Think about it. If somebody kept coming to you hey, J. Lou, what's going on, man? On Friday, right when you get paid. Yeah, oh, man. My check was short this week. Man, I just am in a pinch. The light bill is due and I don't know what I'm going to do. You being a good friend, they may not even have to ask you because you hear the need. I know we're those kind of people. It's like, well, say less. You want to come by and pick it up, or do I need to Zelle it, Cash App? Get the money to them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Next week, hey, woo, man. Finally caught up with my lights. But the freaking gas bill because with the rent increase and having to get new uniforms and just, not having help and just single parenting is crazy. Here you are again. You might say less. What do you need? Or now you might be like, well, what you gonna do? Well, they may borrow. They may ask you, and I hate to ask you, but I don't have anybody else. You may give it again. Couple weeks pass. You busy. You don't have time to pick up calls. You moving around. You're engulfed in your own stuff. Boom, beginning of next month. What's happening? Yeah, oh man, it's kind of here. I did all this stuff. Freaking tire blew out when I was driving the kids to school the other day. And I had to charge one of my credit cards. And now that bill is going to be coming up. I don't have enough because I paid for the uniforms. And it's crazy. See, only you will know where in your mind you like, what the fuck? Like, this has happened. You either are not prepared. Like, what's up? Or you may be one of those people that just keep saying,
job or something like, hey man, they over here hiring as such and such.
Right. But see, but somebody else, they may just keep doing it. Keep doing it. And you may be like, oh, you got it like that? Because they giving the money. I equate the two where if you would know right away with your money, you need to start really focusing on your time. Because people notice it right away usually with their money. I'm not even answering the phone. Every time I talk to them, they asking to borrow some money. They know it right away. But they may be lending their time, which is far more valuable with hanging out or having these non-productive conversations or these meetups where nothing happens, and I'm not saying every time you meet up, you have to be creating or executing the small business idea, anything.
No, when you're hanging with somebody, it's always going to be some type of enlightening conversation that goes on, even when you're not trying.
Do a self-check. It feels good when you leave the presence of people that pour into you. Just start looking at who you around and how you feel when you leave them. Like literally when you get in your car, how do you feel when you arrived and when you left? Just do it as an experiment. How do you feel when you picked up the phone versus when you got off the phone? I think it's a good thing because you'll start reevaluating. It's not to cut someone off. You just might start limiting and it'll help you with your New Year's resolution. But yeah, we jumped over the time and stuff like that. But hopefully if you have a New Year's resolution or New Year's commitment, you have positioned yourself to win. And winning is trying every day. There's effort in your success. So don't make it like you had to do the whole big picture and then dump on yourself, especially with everything going on and they're changing this and you can't travel, you can't do this. Just try to keep knocking stuff off that to-do list that's going to get you to the big goal. Little things, whether you set up an email address or connect with some like-minded individuals that may be able to assist you in the capacity to brainstorm or, whatever it is. Or I'm going to find some groups on Facebook of like-minded people so I can just begin to feed my mind and that energy. That's something where you're winning, because when you get around people that sharpen you, that pour into you, and you do it too, it just hit different.
Yeah, you don't want to be the oddball standing out, or you would just leave altogether because you don't want to stand out like that. So it's going to make you move. It just depends on what kind of person you are.
Listen, Linda. Hello, boy. Listen, Linda. That's how I feel. Do not give up your time. It's invaluable to unworthy people, positions, circumstance. It's like, nah, I'm not lending my time to that. Value it. That right there, priceless. Time is priceless. It's crazy. I only began to understand it later in life, and I can't, they say unlearn it. I can't. I start feeling some type of way. Like, ooh, get back. Ooh, I don't even want. What am I doing this? I do a self-check. We'll veg out. Like, I like Judge Lynn for divorce court. I'll put that on. And it's kind of research too, because you kind of pat yourself on the back, but you get to hear the different things that are going on in relationships. She's got the thing that they do where, I forget what it's called. I'm having a brain freeze. Where they almost are like meeting her before, it's the before your vows, where she can tear up the marriage certificate and say, don't get married. And then there are people that are actually married and coming to her like, we are done. So it's insightful. It's a way of interacting, I think, kind of hearing different couples and having dialogue with Lou sometimes saying, what do you think about that? That's crazy. Or I didn't look at it that way. Or wow, we kind of hard on ourselves because that right there, that's a lot. At some point, I'll look over and be like, we're done. I just turn it off because I can't give any more time to it. And then I go stints where it's nothing, no TV, no nothing. I'm allocating my time to other things, you know. So don't be hard on yourself, but be realistic where you setting yourself up to win. Don't just say these resolutions and things and don't have any blueprint or items that get you there. If I'm saying it right.
Yeah,
you know, don't
items.
Exactly, action items to get you there. You just keep saying it. And they'll be mad. I'll be like, you a liar. Stop calling me. Every time I see you, you be lying. Stop saying that. Because you're not even trying to do it. Dang, we not even friends no more because they said I was like real hard. Like I'm calling them a liar and stuff. So. Okay, that happened.
Well, y'all lie if you ain't do it.
Oh, that tickles me because sometimes when you guys look into astrology, we like to read different stuff in it for fun, but I'm a Sagittarius, so it's like they just say stuff without thinking. They just say it uncensored. They just say what they think, and I don't mean to be that way. I don't think I do that all the time.
Yeah, you do.
And my poker face is horrible. So if I'm not saying it with my words, you get to feel it through my energy or my face and stuff.
And sometimes it ain't no way that you can say it no different than what you say. We just get mad. People, we don't like to hear the truth. Yeah. And sometimes there is no soft way to give somebody the truth.
They don't like it though.
No, no.
Like, could you put some sugar or some
no matter how you tell somebody the truth, if it's something negative, oh yeah.
It's a wrap.
You gonna get that work.
I've been banned. Don't invite her over here no more.
Yeah, ain't nobody trying to hear that.
No welcome to the party for her. Yeah, but I'm sending out positive energy for all New Year's resolutions, commitments, or, just yay. I'm supporting you in spirit and energy. Like, you can do it. Set yourself up to win. And no matter what happens, just keep trying. Just keep going for it. That's the best way to do it. The other thing... This is going to be so fun for you. When we're driving to run errands, we put our me time together sometimes and run errands together. We do it intentionally where it's like, oh, instead of him going separately or me going separately, we know we've been busy moving around. It's like we could, I'll wait and just run errands with him and we'll just get everything together. But we kind of have these chats in the car as we're driving through the city because we do stay in LA. We're centrally located where you can jump over to Hollywood, Silver Lake, Echo Park, all these sub cities. But you moving here, you said California is full of sub cities.
Oh, yeah.
So in saying that, when we were driving today and looking at just how different it's been when we've traveled and seeing the homeless population and just how dirty it is in some areas, or some beautiful apartment buildings in some areas are just overtaken by like homeless encampments. They surrounded the building and people walking with no shoes, and it's different things. I know that some people have some mental health issues. There may be some drug use. I don't know. Everybody's in situation, and that could happen to anybody. But I was thinking about it like, wow, what tidbits would you give somebody that's moving to LA? You're a transplant. I'm from here. I mean, we've said that before in previous podcasts. Born and raised, lived in different sub-cities, but Lou came from Houston and he's been here for a while, but there are a lot of people that just jump and come here. So are there any tips, tidbits, or what was your experience like shell shock coming from Houston to LA? Like, whoa, what would you tell somebody that's moving here?
Do not believe what you see on TV and what they show you. Everything about reality TV, the movies that you see, all that stuff is night and day. And don't get me wrong, they have some very scenic things here, but the way they portray it is not.
It's not LA, huh?
Nah, man.
You found some most beautiful places. Like, why would they tell people to come to LA?
Dude, I remember seeing a movie. I can't remember what movie it was, or maybe it was reality TV or whatnot. And, you see Hollywood Boulevard and the Avenue of the Stars and all that. And it's, oh, man, that shit look dope as fuck. I'm going to come out there, man, and see what it do.
Palm trees.
Man, they dress that shit up and it be looking good to people that's from Houston and the South and everywhere else that, don't get around.
They're showing you the entrance to Beverly Hills and then they throw that.
Yeah. Yeah. Nah. Cuts. Editing is real, people. So, yeah, I was like, damn, I can't wait till I get out there. I'm going to paint the city red.
I go to the beach.
I get out here. Oh, shit. Yeah, don't even talk about the beach. Venice Beach. You might step on a goddamn needle that somebody was shooting up with. I'm just keeping it all the way real with you. The things that I had in my mind that I was going to do when I first got here, I told B what I was. She's like, so what you want to do? I was like, well, what about this whole Hollywood Boulevard and the beach? She was like, look, I'm gonna tell you right now, anything that's touristy or any place that you seen on TV or whatever the case may be, you gotta stay away from it. I took her word for it. I stayed out here. What was it? 2 years?
A year before you went, because when you had your family visit, we went
they
to Hollywood.
wanted to go see that shit. And
Yeah.
when I went, when I tell you that shit was the dirtiest, it was the dirtiest thing I've ever seen.
People asking for money or taking pictures. Just don't. Hollywood Boulevard is not someplace. Me personally, I would never just take somebody there.
I wouldn't pay you to go over there. Not only is it crowded, you got homeless people that's walking with the crowd, and then it's just crazy driving and all kind. It's just things
Parking
you don't want to
is
subject
horrible.
yourself to. So yeah, no.
So your first tidbit is don't believe what you don't believe the hype. Don't
man.
believe what you see on TV.
I remember, I think, who was it? What's the cat name that always do Jimmy Fallon, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
They might have had something out there where they set up a set and had it looking all nice right there on a 100-yard block.
Yeah.
And then they had all the trash around that area. But that specific area, spick and span. So when they want to do something, yeah, they can get it cleaned out. But it goes back to a shit show once they get their feel from it.
It's more nice stuff on the outskirts. You learn quickly.
Yeah,
like those places aren't even on Hollywood Boulevard. The studios are away from it.
Oh, yeah. Well, I didn't expect it to be as bad as it was. I mean, I would tell somebody that moved to Houston, like, some of the dopest spots is not in inner city Houston.
Okay.
You know, it's on the outskirts, just like here. You got.
So there's a similarity.
Yeah, it's a similarity, but it's worse here because we don't have as many homeless people walking around, you know. And then what's so fucked up about it, I wish I could tell you to prepare to save some money, but if you coming from where I'm from, your money, it's like going to another country where the dollar is now worth 15 cents. So whatever you thought you was prepared to pay, add another $3 or $4 grand on top of that. The cost of living here is ridiculous, man. And I've never seen so many grown people roommating. Like, we're talking about not just kids, like 20, 23, 24. We talking about 30-year-olds, like, rooming up. And I get it, because they on the grind and shit. If you want to stay in certain areas and stay out of the rougher areas, like I call them the number streets, you want to stay from over there, you going to have to either A, work 2 or 3 jobs, B, have a really good job, or C, you roommating. Because it ain't no way around that rent.
Or you renting a Cracker Box.
Oh, yeah.
You're paying for the zip code, but you're in a beautiful home that has 7 other rooms rented out.
Oh, yeah.
And then some people just have the financial means. More power to you.
Yeah.
You know, that's great. But so your second one is be prepared to pay.
Oh, yeah.
Be prepared to pay.
Yeah.
So,
no, you going to come off the money. You
so
gonna
don't
come off
believe
them
what
dollars.
you see. Be prepared to pay.
Oh, man.
And I think another one I really realized, and I'm so glad you caught it right away, because I kind of made mention of it the first time where you're like, don't believe what you see. But I would encourage you to explore, because you had an opportunity just through, you know, meeting different people, whether you're recording and moving around, you know, where Diamond Bar is and Culver City and West Covina and Downey and Bellflower. We're traveling for food. You know, these are these little stuff. Burbank. Yeah, Burbank, Duarte, Glendale. These are Reseda, Northridge, Pacoima. They don't highlight those places. They say Hollywood, Los Angeles, and downtown Staples Center. And you go right across the street and somebody just peeing right there on the ground. We were downtown today, right by the Staples Center. Was that no, where were we coming from? We saw a naked man.
No, that was on Wilshire.
Yeah, we were. So we're
6 going towards Wilshire.
Yeah, they show that over there. That's like
yeah.
the Wilshire district.
Koreatown, baby.
You can party over there and everything. Man, butt naked with one shoe on and a blouse. And the blouse was like unbuttoned. And I'm not making fun of the man.
No.
At all, by no means, because I understand it's just stuff. But there was a girl walking her dog that said, I gotta get out of here. She was on her phone. She's like, I gotta get out of here. But it's just crazy because the commercials, like you said, that you see, if all you're thinking is, ooh, LA, don't. Come to LA. You can explore there. There's some good things. You can go downtown. You can buy stuff wholesale. They've got some great food. There's Pasadena, Altadena. You're all over the place. But I don't think, as far as like when they say in order to raise a family or something, and you're from here, you don't have to go all the way to the South. Or, of course, the cost of living is completely different.
Mm-hmm.
But we've seen some beautiful homes on the outskirts.
Well, yeah, no, the amount that you pay on the outskirts out here, obviously you're not going to beat the South. But for it to be California is definitely reasonable. On top of that, I'm big on space.
Yeah.
So even with you paying what you're paying, at least you're getting the space that you deserve with the money. It's like, damn, that's a little bit, but I can rock with that. But when you come to LA and you paying what is it, $700,000, $800,000 for some of these houses, and they 700 square feet, I may be exaggerating and I might not be.
Yeah.
Depending on where you are, because you may very well have a 900 square foot house over there close to West Hollywood or Beverly Hills, and yeah, you're gonna pay a meal or two.
And I just read
just
something
because of the area.
And I just read something today that was crazy. So you never really own your house in California. I was reading an article about how people that most of the time, athletes, they pretty much are thinking they're going to play forever. So they're blowing their money on different things. Not all of them, but they were saying a great majority of them do. And when they run out of money, they purchase these things that they can't afford after, they get injured or their time. Right. That. So here you are, they bought the house outright, or they have mortgage. Let's say somebody didn't buy it outright. They had to pay a mortgage. So now downside, you can't pay the mortgage, you lose it. But let's say they bought it outright, property taxes. Now they can't pay the property taxes. Boom. So the way the article was reading, it said you really never owned it. At what point was it mine? Where it's like, I've paid for everything. At the end of the day, I can sit here with peace of mind that this is my house. I just pay utilities. My mom used to tell me there's value in the land. I'm thinking that's the only way you probably can do it. I've never done it, but I'm thinking, how does that work if I buy the land and then build a house? California is the most money hungry spot. They gonna find a way to get some money from you.
Oh yeah, loophole.
It's like, we gonna find a way to get some money from you one way or another. You gonna pay us to be here. You paying for the weather. You're paying for just to say you here.
State, federal tax.
Yeah, it's crazy. So I think those are good. I think those are good tidbits.
Oh yeah.
So is with expectation when you come, don't believe the hype. Don't do it, and be prepared to pay. Don't grab your heart and be sure. What? Be prepared. What does they pay to play?
Oh yeah.
Or pay to stay. And the third one is explore. Don't get so dead set on, I could not pay what they're paying down there by the Staples Center downtown and know that I could bump into an encampment or Skid Row is right over there. Or, depending on where I'm sitting, somebody just might come, usually push their face against the window, or you catch them using a bathroom and you're looking out as you're eating in this beautiful scenic restaurant that they advertise. It's right across the street from the Staples Center. So
yeah, we didn't really get on the traffic very much. It's been a little smooth.
Anything with a 5 in it, stay away from it. 405, the 5. I'm trying to think of something. It's just never good. Those two freeways are horrible. There's somebody driving all the time.
Oh, yeah.
The least amount of traffic I saw ever in my life was COVID.
Mm-hmm.
And as soon as they opened back up, it was right back to normal. I'm like, wait a minute, I thought they didn't open everything all the way right back up.
People out there, they just want to be in a car now.
Yeah. I mean, I was like, everybody's taking night drives.
Houston has bad traffic, but I've never experienced taking an hour to go 9 miles.
Another thing that I like about Houston, you guys have really wide streets and plenty of parking. They will give you a little square to park in, and you hoping you don't hit the person's door. And hoping that they don't hit yours. And it's why did you guys do this?
Because they putting as many people in these spots as possible. It's like, yeah, we want to condense the parking spots so we can get more people over here. It's like,
what did we spend in San Francisco? Probably like $70 or $80.
Man, that was hard.
Or $90 in parking.
For and what, here, a couple days?
Yeah, and then get prepared for it here too. You driving to the beach, $25 for parking, $12 for parking, to park and go onto the pier. And like you said, no exaggeration, you might catch some needles sticking out the sand, or you got the people under the boardwalks. It's a lot. And I would say go more up towards, Malibu, those beaches, Capistrano, towards San Diego. Oceanside. You've experienced the water is clear.
Laguna.
Right. Santa Monica, if you just want to go and be like, I touched Santa Monica Pier. I went over to Venice Beach and saw the, whatever they call it, where they're all working out the bods and the basketball courts.
Beach.
Yeah. The Venice canals, stuff like that. Based on you not being from here, would you say, and I know you're very truthful with me, what you wanted to see versus what I showed you? Wouldn't you tell somebody, please?
Yeah, don't waste your time. It's nothing to see. It's almost like, move along, people. It's nothing to see.
Exactly. Yeah, it's a disappointment. But some people might like the grunge and the, it's like, yeah, I like it, So
the older I get, I don't want to be in crowded places like that.
The young people might come there and say, we partied all night downtown, underground club,
and
everything.
And that's good for you.
I came out, gave a homeless man some money. We talked. I love it. I love LA. That may work for you. But based on what I was wanting you to share with your experience here and some tidbits, hopefully those are helpful for some people that may have had the same thought process of, ooh, wait a minute, it don't look like what they said.
Mm-mm.
No, it's not. Kind of shady sometimes.
If you listen to some of the hip hop artists y'all check out, like Kendrick Lamar and all them, they tell you in so many ways like that LA that they show you on TV ain't the one that we living in.
But some people just listen to the beat, not the lyrics.
Oh, okay, so
boom, 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 and right past.
What's the famous words? You just skimming through it, huh?
Yeah, they didn't hear it. But hopefully that's helpful, because moving to LA can be a great experience for some and an eye opener, like shell shock for others. Mm. And I think it was a little bit of both for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that was to live and die in LA.
Yeah, nah. It wasn't enough to scare me off, but it definitely was enough to like, oh, okay, y'all, you got me.
And stop coming here going to In-N-Out. I just want to say that. That's it. It is my pet peeve when I've met other people like from Greece. In-N-Out,
In-N-Out. One time.
In-N-Out. I'm like, who told them that when they touched down here that In-N-Out was that deal? It's crazy. It is definitely a healthier option than McDonald's and stuff like that.
It was the marketing bee.
I don't know.
They got a hell of a marketing team because that burger is overrated. It's good. It's
a healthier option than McDonald's. They're making it fresh, family owned.
But that wouldn't be the first thing I tell you to do, touching down from another country.
There were people that were we going to the airport, but we're trying to find In-N-Out.
Every In-N-Out. I don't give a damn what time of day. It's always a fucking line wrapped around a corner. And it's like, who is in line for this shit? And they be waiting for this shit.
I think it's what you said. I think it's the marketing and the psychology behind it. They've got to be running a crazy marketing campaign outside, because we don't see it like that. And they're only in certain areas too. So usually when you see it In-N-Out, you're in a decent area. Just so you know, that's a little tidbit as well. And they have them by the airport as well. But man, it was the smartest thing they ever did. I wish I had invested in the In-N-Out.
Man. They got a cold ass promotion.
We can podcast every day because we wouldn't have to do. We'd be paid.
They got a cold ass promotion.
Yeah,
because I ain't seen an In-N-Out commercial yet.
We don't watch regular TV though. That's yeah, right. We don't watch TV. But that's another thing. When you come here, I get it if you want to try it, but it is not the best burger to have here. And we can dedicate a whole nother podcast on things to do in LA. I'll make sure I remember that. We usually don't pre-plan, but I definitely like to give some gems. I'm from here, and like I said earlier, so many sub-cities. Like you can jump over to San Diego. You can even do a 4 to 5 hour drive to Vegas. You can jump up to Santa Barbara. You can go over to San Francisco. You don't have to just sit in LA. Mm-mm. There's some fun things to do. And hopefully as we transition out, I'm speaking that of COVID, I'm looking forward to some new creative things that came out of our people that are unveiling after COVID. Because I believe there's some great things that are going to come out of this where it's like, when did this? I just wasn't able to have people come because of COVID, but I created this during COVID, and they call them soft openings or the launch and stuff. So I'm excited about that type of stuff. I'm looking forward to it. And last but not least, money seeds. I understand this, but I wanted to just put it out there. If you already know, great. But if you don't, money is a seed. And I think you got to change your perspective of how you look at it, especially right now. So when you get it, you got to put it somewhere where it'll grow. It doesn't grow in bills. It doesn't grow in
Your closet.
assets. I'm not saying assets, I'm sorry, liabilities or things that depreciate the value when you buy them. That's not a seed. Just imagine if you went and put a seed, literally, that's why I said money seeds, in the trash can.
Yeah,
A seed in the dryer. You got to go put it in the ground, and then you have to do some stuff to it. You got to water it, and no, you don't control the sun and the rain, but you probably would plant it in some ground that you thought was fertile. You know, the soil looked good and stuff like that. And I'm likening that to good investments, possibly some stuff where you might go in with somebody and partner up, and it's like, I don't really know the ins and outs of this business, but I believe in what you're passionate about. How can I assist? And what do you say? What's the ROI? You know, what's the return on my investment? Or you might start investing in some stocks, you know, or you might want to put your money to work in a couple of different ways. I'm not doing any type of financial advising here. I'm just saying money seed, money seed, money seed. If you are not putting your money to work, know that you're going to be working for your money for a long time. And I want to work smarter, not harder. I want to be asleep and my money's working for me. So during this time, as they're releasing like stimulus, think of it as money seed, money seed. This is money that you were not expecting to get. So even if you got to skim a little bit off the top, whatever it is, plant some of it where it can grow. Don't just give it all to something that has no return for you. Even when you buy cars and stuff like that, the value of a car depreciates when you drive it off the lot. So just start thinking about where you can plant the money seed.
Yeah, unless that car is helping you build a business that you're trying to create, yeah, I'm with them. Don't do that to yourself, because you're only going to see yourself 6 months, maybe sooner than that, and maybe a year from now, and be like, damn, I had all this money come through my hand. I don't have nothing to show for it but this goddamn car, and now the maintenance is due on it.
And sometimes you'll hear me reference this all the time through our podcast. I'm very spiritual, and I think about where we ask for miracles, or we reference miracles that we were told as kids, you know, through Bible stories about the Red Sea parting or the loaves of bread and fish being multiplied. That's happening right now. Like, if there's money coming to you and you're like, wow, I'm already sustaining, you know, the bills are paid. Ooh, extra money. Stuff is being released to you. That's the loaves of bread being multiplied. You have an abundance, and you might not, perspective wise, you know, you're looking at it one way. You got to change your perspective where it's like, wait a minute, I'm getting this extra money. Where can I put it where it assists me, where it helps me, it grows? Money seed, money seed. And that's why I was saying, when you looked at me like money seed, because if you don't plant, when they say you reap what you sow, the harvest right now, the harvest is plenty, but the laborers are few. Right now, I believe it's like you're sowing seed now. When it's time to reap the harvest, when everything opens back up, if you didn't plant some seed somewhere,
you're in trouble.
Man, and you'll know you didn't. Some people are creating more bills. They're not being disciplined. It's like, I'm getting this car, I got a car note, and it's like, are you looking down the line? You know, I always wondered, I got this extra money, I'm going to get it now. You know, they giving away cars. I didn't even have to put no money down. Right, you didn't, but you have a car note now. Maybe you might have wanted to buy something outright, so you only have to focus on the repairs in the event that something goes wrong, not the car note and the repairs and the insurance.
If you're not in a forecasting mindset, you might want to place yourself in it, because if you think about it, the world is speeding up. I mean, I was just talking to somebody today about how fast time is moving. And I remember when certain jobs I used to have, you felt like that fucking job took forever. That 8 hours felt like it was 20 hours. But in this day and time, 8 hours feel like 4 hours. Even when you go to a place you don't enjoy going to, work-wise, that's flying by. So not only, or just picking back,
you close your eyes at night, you say, damn, it's 5 o'clock.
Man,
you look like, you really look at me like, when the alarm goes off, like, I'm just like, no, actually, I just closed my eyes.
I'm telling you, man, it's flying by. And what's going to make you feel even worse about it is if the time is flying by and you didn't prepare yourself for the future. And things are changing, man. There's so much uncertainty going on right now. I don't know what jobs and opportunities are going to be there. So you have to think about, what problem can you think of that you can create a solution to focusing on whatever passion that is and trying to figure out how to do that as efficient as possible. And if you don't have a passion of your own, team up with somebody that has one.
Man, you just took the words right out of my mouth. I was going to say, sometimes it's not you.
It ain't you.
Sometimes it's for
somebody
you
else.
to pour into somebody else. Sometimes the money comes to you and you're supposed to plant seed in somebody else. Sometimes you're not the innovator. Sometimes, what I say, you're the step stool.
Mm-hmm.
You are the
but it's the mindset you gotta have about the step stool thing, because there's some step stools as millionaires right now.
Oh man, watch this. You may not be at the forefront of the idea, the face of it and everything, but you may be the investor. It's okay with being the investor.
You know, the perfect example of that. You're a step stool when you're paying for stock, believe it or not.
Yeah, you're helping their company. Yeah.
You're using your money to put stock or capital into somebody else's company, hoping that it will do something miraculous. But you ain't a part of that creating process.
No, you just look at your stock and what it's doing. And they're over there working out the kinks. But another thing, look around you. There's so many creative little people, young people. I'm real big on ask, seek, knock. And I believe in that process, what you are looking for will come to you. You ask, you seek, you knock. You ask, seek, knock. And I believe that God will do the rest. I really do. So put it out there that you're looking for creative people. You know, start talking to other people about, you know, what are you passionate about? And, oh, well, I'm passionate about this. Well, how much time have you committed to it? You may find that somebody's like, oh, I've done everything. I don't have the capital. I've got everything in my living room. I was making stuff before COVID and just landing on some hard times. God just created an investment opportunity for you. I believe somebody's looking for you as you're looking for them. I'll say it 1,000 times more down the line. Any podcast you listen to, some things you're going to say, she says that all the time, but I believe it. They're the creator. You're the investor and you're coming with capital. And that's how you've connected and you're able to plant money seed and it grows. You guys both have something the other person needs and you're assisting them to get out what they're passionate about, whether it's marketing, whether you guys come up with even a better way to get it out there and you guys go half, or you might come with all the capital. You might say, I have all the capital to help, but I want to have a percentage of the company. I want to be a silent partner. However you work it out, just know money seed is here. It's here. And it's being given to us because we need to plant it somewhere so that when all this blows over and the harvest is here, some people are going to be reaping like, wow, when did you invest in that? How did you guys meet up? Man, during COVID. Really? Yeah. I had extra time. So I just created this group or I went into groups, whatever it is. Only you would know. You know where you're supposed to be. I believe that people really do. Sometimes they just don't want to take heed to the unction or what their gut feeling. People call it their gut, or it's like, dang, something told me. Don't be that person. It's the worst feeling ever when you're just like, something told me to move faster here, to do that, to connect with that person, to be out there actively looking for a way to invest. Or I heard several times that this guy's music and I ended up meeting the guy. Whatever it is, just be open to plant the money seed.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, that's a wrap for us. If you want to keep this conversation going, you have any questions, comments, concerns, or suggested topics, you can shoot us an email at realfitradio@gmail.com. Our podcast drops every Monday. You can catch the latest snippet on our Instagram at realfitradio. If you're not following us, you definitely should be. As always, we hope this inspired, impacted, or empowered someone. Until next time.